So if you haven't noticed, a new Elven Summoning Pool event has just begun, allowing you to collect insane High Elf faction champions such as Swarm Speaker and Fyna. We're going to dive into why these champions are incredible for mid and late game users, so a massive thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video, and let's get right into it. So, in this event, Prism Shards have the chance to contain Fyna. She is an incredibly strong legendary that has all the auras, passives and abilities that straight up carry all other High Elves in your team. Now, the event is geared more towards older and long-term accounts, so if you're a new player, this isn't going to really apply to you, especially because you're not going to have many High Elves in your champion pool that are going to be really good. So this is definitely more for those who are trying to get the most out of hard mode in like Fire Knight, Dragon Dungeons and the likes. So the headliner, Fyna, is really strong, mostly thanks to her lead from the front passive. Whenever a buff is placed on an ally, their turn meter increases by 3%. But much like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and their Unity passive when you have more turtles on your team, she does the same but for High Elves. So there's 3 tiers. If you have 3 other High Elves on the team, one of them, if you only have one, then allies deal 25% more damage when attacking out of their active turn. Kind of useful for some specific champions, but not so much. But the second and third one is where it's really important. Whenever a buff is removed or stolen from an ally, or when it expires, it further increases their turn meter by 10%. That's huge. And then the third one is even bigger because then allies will ignore 5% of the target's defense for each buff on them. Since champs can have up to 10 buffs at one turn, 50% of the defense on the enemy can be ignored. And then on top of that, her aura is really strong, because not only does it increase ally speed in all battles by 20%, if all of them are High Elves, then it also increases their crit rate in all battles by 15%. So when you're building your team out, you don't have to focus so much on getting 100% crit rate. You only need 75, and you can put the rest of those stats into other things that are more important, like accuracy or resistance or health, which we'll get into for some of the other champions in this list as well. Next up is Wallmaster. Now Wallmaster is very strong against the Hydra, since his A1 and A2 increase his turn meter for each shot, as you see here. Fills the champion's turn meter by 5% for each living enemy after the attack. And then since Hydra has very large multiple health pools, this is perfect for him, and it's the same for his A2. His Falcon shot is insane, because again, it fills a champion's turn meter by 5% for each living enemy. However, the first hit has a 75% chance of placing a block debuff for 2 turns, and the second hit has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. But the best thing about this is his damage is based on enemy max HP. So the higher the health pool, the higher the damage. So this is really great for bosses with those huge health pools. But if you manage to ascend him, his passive, No Foe Too Great, which is linked to the Hydra, it increases his max HP by 20% for each enemy killed on the Hydra's head decapitated by this champion, and it stacks up to an additional 50,000 HP. This is massive. Next up on the list is Islin. So Islin is really great in Classic Arena. His passive, Protect the Troops, scales with his defense. So if we take a look at this, whenever the champion is attacked, he can heal himself by 1% for each 500 defense he has. Now, average builds of Islin will see him have around 5,000 defense, which gives him 10% healing every time he is attacked. And endgame builds, those that really put money into it or have been playing for a very long time, will likely see him have around 9,000 defense, which is about 18% of his max HP healed every single time he is attacked. So on top of that, when he is attacked, 30% of that total heal is also given to his allies, which makes the High Elf team in general really difficult to kill in Classic Arena. His A1 can also force enemies to attack him under provoke, which, you know, makes them forced to attack him with their basic A1 attacks, but on top of that, his A2 can reduce enemy buffs by at least 1 turn. And on top of that, he has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed buff for 2 turns, which is a nice cherry on the top there. Next up, his A3 has a 60% increased defense buff for all allies for 2 turns. And on top of that, he also gives a counterattack buff on him, which is, you know, syncs very well with his provoke. And then on top of that, you have a shield that he gives himself for 2 turns, which is proportional to this champion's defense. So this guy is practically unkillable and syncs so well with all the other High Elves, making it almost impossible to kill in Classic Arena. So those are the 3 legendary champions you should be focusing in the Prism Shard event. There are a few notable ones in the Epic that you might want to pick up. Neldor is one of those, so one thing I like about him is that his A1 provides a freeze, so each hit has a 30% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn, and he attacks 3 times. This is really important because Fire Knight on hard mode requires freeze to slow down his turn meter to even complete it, so having him on the team for that is really good. His A2 also provides a decreased attack and decreased accuracy, which is really nice. Those have 50% chance to place 50% on both of those. And then his A3 provides a decreased speed and heal for sustainability. So that's really great. So the final epic that I recommend from this pool is Royal Guard. So his A1 attack has the ability of placing a 60% decrease defense, which is really great. We talked about this with War Maiden, she does this as well. And then next, his A2 is just as important because he can deal percentage max health of the enemy, as we discussed earlier. It's really great for enemies that have huge health pools or bosses. And then finally, A3, he has the ability to slow down enemies from attacking by reducing their turn meter. So those are the champions I recommend you try and pick up from this event. It ends on Friday this week. In terms of how much it costs, I've seen people get deals for, you know, 400 shards for about 100 USD. For me personally, I think I got something a bit more expensive. If I look here, I got, 100 prism crystals for £25. So what I'd say that's $130 for me if I got 400 of those prism crystals, so not so much, but obviously everyone gets a different deal depending on your spending habits with this game, so check it out. I mean, if you're a new player, I don't really recommend purchasing these, but if you are a long time player and you're trying to build out some of the best High Elven teams out there at the moment, this is your time to shine. Definitely pick it up. So that is the Elven Summoning Pool event. Hopefully you get what you want from this. I know it's like a 2% chance to get Fyna, sorry I keep pronouncing their name wrong. But all the best, and for more Raid Shadow Legends videos, you can check out these ones appearing on the end screen now.